So, what's going on? This is the recording for our very first game that we're doing today. I'm Coshade, and we'll be watching a live game here between Sharkbait and Ryukai, who is, I think it's pronounced D5 hernan or D5hernan. I don't know where they got the H from, but that's how I'm doing it. I'm terrible with pronunciations. It's kind of my thing, I guess. Um, so Sharkbait has been pulling out a lot of the aggressive decks. We've been seeing the Adramelech Warlock out of him. Jason, you want to co-commentate? You know what? Yeah, let's just go ahead and join the lobby. I'll join lobby. So Sharkbait, curious to see what he brings out. Most likely, it's going to be, in my guess anyway, some sort of aggressive book. It tends to be Shark style since I've known him. Ryukai, don't really know too much about his style right now. I've seen all sorts of things, but he keeps improving, so it's really, it's really up to whatever he rolls today. And Jason, how's it going, Jason?
Hey there, I'm eating cake right now, but other than that, it's just a chill Sunday evening doing nothing. Just watching your stream, and I thought, hey, I could make myself useful.
Well, heck yeah. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure I can get my sound settings here for you. I don't know if people can hear you. For some reason, all of my... Yeah, you should be good now. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for some reason, all my sound settings got reset. And it's really annoying.
Yeah, the quirks of technology.
Yeah, right? Randomly doing it. So Sharkbait is pulling out the Adramelech Warlock here. And we have, looks like Ryukai is going to be playing the Straywood Beastmaster. Interesting matchup. Right off the bat, how do you feel about that matchup, Jason?
It's diametrically opposite to each other. The Adramelech usually doesn't use any creatures, even though she has the demon bonus where the demons heal if they attack something burning. Well, the Beastmaster usually doesn't use attack spells, so that's like the very opposite playstyles.
Absolutely. Yeah, I find it kind of interesting that they both can be pretty aggressive, but just in different ways. Like you can see Straywood's, attack in turn 2 or 3, with just like a decent amount of dice actually. Maybe 3 or 4. Whereas Adramelech Warlock, same thing. It's just kind of going more of a solo kind of way. And we do see a mana crystal go down for that Adramelech. Let me see if I can.
I'm gonna mute myself a second. I'm getting a call right now.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. So Straywood pulling out the Enchanter's Ring, Sharkbait pulling out the Mana Crystal. These are very normal openings when it comes to turn 1, turn 2. The double Mana Crystal out of Shark. This is something that's actually pretty new for Shark. That relatively new to what I've seen him play before, which is rarely a Mana Crystal, maybe one, but normally opening with some sort of creature, maybe, or something like that, or a ring. And I think he just appreciates having more mana. Maybe because he's just gone, okay, I don't want to rush every time, but instead I want to sort of build up some sort of economy. Ryukai doing the lair and Enchanter's Ring. Enchanter's Ring is... Gonna be totally honest, I never use it. I understand why players do, but I just find that the value of a crystal or of a spawn point is just way better in the long run. That being said, layer in the corner with Enchanter's Ring, I'm not exactly sure I feel yet. We're gonna see how it works out.
I mean, the lair in the corner is kind of weird because you want to start pressuring the Adramelech. You expect her to go aggressive and you want to force her to not go aggressive. So if you're summoning something back there, it's like 2 turns later until Shark actually has to think about the creature.
Yeah,
so
I actually
that's already
agree.
something I don't agree with. As for the
Yeah,
Enchanter's Ring, I've played it for a long time in my solo Warlock because I just thought I'm gonna always enchant something every turn, and then it's better than a crystal. But
mm-hmm.
nowadays I just play a mana flower and go with that, and unless I have some specific opening where I need
Fair.
the 3 mana.
Yeah, the layer in the corner. Not sure how I feel about that either. I mean, there's obviously fast creatures that are animals, so you can move them fast. But I agree. Something like the center two spots, usually my preferred layer spot. And I feel like back here, normally I think he's going super long game, but he chose to move up one. So,
That's exactly my problem. Why do you move
yeah.
out of the zone if you're gonna wait back there?
Mm-hmm.
Also, the reason not to go with a front layer is because you're scared it's going to get killed.
Yeah, that's fair.
If an Adramelech spends like 3 turns or 2 turns, if he's lucky, killing the lair, you have won 2 turns.
Oh, especially. Yeah. Honestly, Lair is such a beefy conjuration that, if they're spending attack spells on it, all their mana, and you're just sitting there like, I'll get a creature or two out of Lair, maybe some enchantments, maybe some other creatures out of my Beastmaster. Like, you can tend to win those games
Yep,
pretty
you're always
solidly.
you're always trading up if someone kills the lair.
Mm-hmm.
That's like in 90% of cases.
Yeah, I suppose that's why Lair is actually a pretty unique spawn point, because it is level 4 and has that sort of beefiness to it. You wouldn't want to necessarily put a temple like on their center.
Temple with 9-2, that's like
Yeah,
huge
exactly.
difference.
And looks like they are still planning the old turn to pull out the second cards. Now we're going to see if anyone wants to actually get aggressive here. We are within a fireball range for Sharkbait. I do think it would be a mistake if he got aggressive. But no armor, that is always tempting for that sort of thing. We see Falcon come out for Ryukai here. He's going to pet it. Um, Probably my favorite pet, the Falcon, just because you can take a bunch of them and they're pretty solid pretty much anywhere.
They're pretty cheap,
Yeah,
and
it's
the value you get from making one a pet, it's already hard to attack them,
mm-hmm.
and you not only make it beefier, but also bump it up from 3 dice to maybe 5 if you're in the same zone, which is like that's a night of Westlock.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we're gonna see a Witchwood Fairy going for more economy here. This is a pretty normal, like, Beastmaster that I see. Witchwood Fairies, sometimes those change out to be, like a familiar or something like that. But like I'm a little worried about his lack of defense here. Of course, we see the Fire Elemental come out for Shark. This is something Shark's been doing a bit of lately. Jason, how do you feel about Fire Elemental?
I've always loved the card, even before we basically buffed Incorporeal.
Mm-hmm.
I've had books built around starting with an aggressive forge to bait out the opponent's surging waves and then play in fire elemental once the surging waves are out. So now that its weakness of getting one shot by 2 5 mana attacks is kind of relieved. I think
Yeah,
it's one of the strongest creatures you can just summon and then send towards your opponent. You don't have to care for him; he's already strong enough. You don't really have to defend him because people don't really want to attack it,
yeah.
and you can just summon it and let it do its thing.
I think that's a really good way of looking at it. That damage barrier is insane against a lot of the Beastmaster creatures. So
Most people don't even know it dazes you with the damage barrier.
right, it's that 9 up and can be 8 up, of course, when it comes to cursing the right object.
Hmm.
It's insane. um, I am curious to see how Ryokai gets around this. Is he going to choose to attack it in some sort of way, or is he going to choose to maybe, uh, you know, be elusive, just get around it, get more dice through to the enemy mage? There's a few ways you can attack into this. Of course, that upkeep one does make it expensive, but he's such a good creature. I don't know. I just think that shark has a really nice, solid base starting here. Um, that being said, I feel like Ryokai he's got his economy set up, and I'm really going to be watching to see his enchantments because you really want to see one per turn out of him.
I'm kind of expecting him to get a Falcon out every turn and enchant each of them. Either with a dodge is what I would do, just to make sure they stay up a little longer, or with a Lion Savagery.
Yeah, Lion Savagery is probably what I would choose too. There is Panther Stealth, of course, but I doubt Shark's going to be guarding with this guy. It would be, I think,
It's
probably a mistake.
guarding with the Elemental is a waste.
Yeah.
Absolute waste. The one thing that bothers me about the Elemental is that it's only 5 dice, which sounds weird. Only 5 dice. Most of the strongest creatures in the game only have 5 dice. But you're paying 20 mana and then one more every turn for something that is basically a Knight of Westlock, which only costs 13.
Yep.
With a burning chance. So the offensive capability of the Elemental, while he really does look fearsome, kind of something where I say, if you, as the opponent of the Fire Elemental, know where to put the value from your own 20 mana that basically are equivalent to that, you can ignore him.
Yeah, I mean 20 plus. This is already costing him. I think what 20.
You can tank 3 of those strikes, and that's like, as Yulia always said, HP is a resource.
Oh, absolutely, it is.
You can tank 3 of those strikes and ignore him. And if you ignore the elemental, you've got the elemental ignored, you've got the 2 mana crystals ignored. That's basically, he's not done anything yet. I mean, he has an elemental and it's a good creature, but it always feels like
Get out there. Yeah, I feel like this is kind of why I would choose the Adramelech Warlock to run him. As Mark for Death is probably the best spell you can use with him. Just because, raising up to 7, a 4-up burn, an 8-up 2 burn is a rat. We have a rat book on our hands here? Okay.
I tried to make one. I tried to make one once.
Yeah, the rats are a really interesting choice. They went through some really fascinating stuff in playtesting where they didn't have the restriction of just gains piercing 2 trait. It was gain piercing 1 per rat, and then there's a gain melee 1. And I actually thought that worked out really well. But you had some ridiculous games, of course, where you'd have dice, 7 dice rats and stuff.
Did they ever buff each other instead of buffing themselves, or the other way around?
It was per rat in zone is what it used to be.
yeah, but could you get both of the bonus?
Yes.
So you got piercing and damage.
Yeah, so you could have a piercing 5. Back then you could have a piercing 5, 6 die. But of course you had to get a bunch of rats out then, and it was just a really funny strat. And I think I understand why they balanced it down, because it definitely was an academy reason as well. But it's just kind of hilarious how that used to work. That being said, the rats still aren't bad. I mean, they're 4 mana, for a 6 die or for a 6 life creature. They might just be a waste of your action, but I don't know. If you get enough of them, they're fine, I guess. Temple of Light comes out.
That's
wow.
Very conservative position. I mean, it hits the lair zone, so that's kind of the purpose. He doesn't want it to be in range of the fire elemental right away, and he wants to attack the fire elemental, and he also wants to protect his lair zone. So that's what it does. But I still would never place it in the corner.
Right.
This limits the scope.
I agree. It's a weird spot, and it looks like
I wonder if he's playing the nature temple. That one nature thing, the new one where you can Meridia's temple, I think.
He does get the stun out of it. Very cool. Yeah, their
Already
Meridia's
pays off.
Blessing. Yeah, the Meridia's Blessing.
Meridia's
Yeah.
Blessing is a temple.
Is Shrine a temple? Or does that just count as something different?
Wait, Blessing is not a temple, but the other one.
Okay,
What's it
yeah.
called? There's this new one where you pray and you heal for one. It's like
Yeah.
a small version of the spring.
Yeah, it's for a
That one is
category.
nature and it's a temple.
Okay, we're gonna see the Falcon come in to attack the fire elemental. Let's see. I mean, he still is gonna get hit with the damage barrier, but he may not care. And rolls pretty good rolls, getting 2 damage off that. Let's see how this damage barrier does back. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like he's paying 1 mana to get 3 dice and a stun daze chance. That's pretty damn good against the fire elemental, honestly.
I mean, it's hard to deal damage to it at all, so 3
Yeah,
damage in 1 turn.
especially since it's ethereal.
Hmm.
Gets a burn. It's a sad face for this fire elemental. Did that elemental actually use its turn already? Wow.
Use what already?
He already used his turn?
Yeah, he did a double move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a stun on your big bad is probably one of the biggest problems.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, you're paying upkeep on this guy. He didn't get any dice, and what we discussed earlier, he already has kind of low dice. Um,
At the same time, he's kind of a red exterminator.
yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely. These rats can do nothing against it, pretty much.
just a second. There's a knock on the door.
Yeah, so Witchwood Ironvine for Shark here. He's just getting some armor, it looks like, and regen. This is probably my preferred belt over regrowth. This is looks like it's a planned opening. Because he really wasn't in danger of needing this armor right now. But I totally get, the idea that hey, you should probably just go up in armor by turn 5. Just because there is all sorts of weird threats like that. Um, that being said, we've seen a rat. Most likely, we're gonna see maybe, probably 2 rats. I would think, but maybe 3 rats a turn.
So I'm back. Yeah, if you're playing rats, I mean, you can theoretically summon 3 rats per turn.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there are only 4. Your lair channels 2, so right off the bat, right when you start the game, you could get 3. You can get a lair and just get 3 around. It's kind of terrifying when you think about how many rats you can get by turn 5.
Yep. I wonder if he's going to play the bats as well, because I always
Ooh,
thought
yeah.
they just go well together.
Yeah, rats and bats.
Most of my Beastmasters have at least 1 bat in there, but I kind of feel like I'm the only one who's playing them.
Are you now? We're talking about Dark Fiend, right? The rot rat.
Yeah, yeah. The
The
little
rot bat.
the rod bat exactly, because there's also still that gimmick where you can get a quarter strike out of them and,
Oh
hope for
yeah,
some
it's so
more rods.
good. So for anyone who doesn't know, you can do Badger Frenzy with Battle Fury, get double strike and double strike the 2 attacks. I think it is. It's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, honestly, like I kind of love the bat, just like in any dark book. Honestly, even because like you get it, and it's like okay, they kind of have to like they usually have to spend more mana to kill it than you spent casting it. Otherwise, you get rots out, and you can just win that way.
Yeah, I only ever use it if I'm playing with a pentagram, because the pentagram is
Yeah, yeah,
limited to demons, but to living dark creatures.
yeah.
So it's one of the few creatures that actually has 2 spawn points for it.
It's nice like that. And it looks like this is a thinking moment for Ryukai. Probably not sure how many bats he wants. He might be contemplating armor here as well.
I actually showed some of my games to a friend who played with me in real life when we were just discovering the game, but hasn't joined onto Octagon.
Yeah.
And I sent him the videos, and the videos, they're like 2 hours long.
Oh yeah.
And then I was like, I'm gonna show it to you, and he's like, yeah, we're not really gonna watch a 2 hours game. And we're gonna cut out the thinking parts.
Yeah.
And
Right.
if you actually just navigate through the videos with the arrow keys and just jump and jump and jump until you see something changed on the board, you can get through a game in like 10 minutes.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
Yeah.
without the thinking parts, it wouldn't be Mage Wars.
Yeah. I would say that the planning phase is why this game's unique. And in my opinion, honestly, why Academy was just not as good, because it just not having to plan was kind of a big deal. So for anyone just joining us, we're actually going to be casting games all day. This is the only live game I think happening. So in terms of jumping around like games faster, most of our later games are going to be fast forwarding through planning phases. Because we basically have like a ton of games because I haven't casted any of them yet. So if you're looking for Mage
Lazy
Wars
bum.
stuff, exactly. It's on the backlog. They'll be on YouTube later if you miss any of them, but for now, this is how you can see it. I actually really like this Temple of Light play, the more that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, especially if he has other temples. I mean, the Hand of Bimshala could work. I mean, it works in absolutely every book. Even Warlocks sometimes play it. And as I said, the Little Meridia Shrine, where you can heal yourself, is also a temple in its nature, which works well with a swarm, because you can always, like, if they survive one hit, you can just take it out of the battle. It's not going to be missed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And heal it back up.
Yeah, totally agree with you there. And like you think about like when it comes to nature mages in general, they kind of struggle to really take good ethereal attacks. And when it comes to spellbook points, this repeatable just sort of beacon that kills stuff, it lets you have more maneuverability, I'd say. Because I'm thinking about things like Steam Elemental, Stormfront, stuff like that. They all can really have issues against this card.
I always like to go with the staff, because you already have the melee bonus, and it also hits flying.
Mage Staff is probably the other one I'd choose if I were to like really go like how can I deal with Ethereal as Beastmaster. Definitely Mage Staff, definitely Temple of Light.
That's kind of what I call a toolbox card.
Of course,
you bring it in hopes that you won't need it, but you'd rather have it than not have it.
Yeah, I've actually been more of a fan of also using, what is that, Jetstream on a Elemental Wand. It's a little expensive, but you can actually do some crazy stuff with that.
Elemental ones tend to disappear very quickly.
Very true. Very true. Do you have a planned order of games you will cast today, or would you take requests on what game? Actually, I probably will just bring up an entire history, and we can just kind of talk about which games we want. Farkas, I like Temple of Light in this meta. It's a cool play. Yeah, I really do too. I almost want just more temples, just to be like Temple of Light, go.
If Metatron had like 2 more HP, he'd see so much play, and he'd see so many temple builds.
I love Metatron.
But he doesn't.
Yeah, I like never use him too because of that. Does he he has 0 armor, right? Or is it 1?
No, I think he has 1 armor. 9-1 with Aegis.
That's right. He has the like regen thing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean he can get up to 5 regen, but with only 9 HP, you're never gonna regenerate 5 because he's either dead or at like minuscule damage.
He's like definitely like put a restore on him, and then when he's about to die, be like, all right, he's gonna regen everything or something. It's like the best way I can think of using it, but it's so much commitment,
Temple builds are kind of weird because stuff like the Temple of Meravan or the Temple of the Dawnbreaker kind of want you to go for more creatures, but if you're going for creatures, you don't have the mana for all the temples.
Yeah, right.
As well, the Temple of Light, not Light, the Temple of Sura, I think, where the summoning one, that also wants you to go for a swarm.
Yep.
But then Metatron himself is just too expensive. Kind of contradictory, all that.
Yeah, he's a cool design. He just needs so many level 1 temples. And yeah, you probably have to avoid the actual summoning temple, which means all the hate's going on Metatron then.
Yes, and then you also can't play the Maravan Temple,
Yeah.
the one that
Yep.
gets stacks whenever something attacks,
Yep.
which is actually pretty cool. I always wonder why I don't see that in the usual temple builds, because giving every holy creature one more dice for
Mhm.
only 5
Yep.
mana is pretty good, considering that Gate to Hell does the same thing for 12 mana.
For a ridiculous mana. Yeah, I totally agree with you actually. And it's what, like every other round, I think, assuming they attack you. You get the
Uh,
+1, I think it is.
I need to check
It's
actually.
something like that, yeah.
I think if you would know if your opponent attacks you, doesn't matter. You get it every second round,
Yeah,
usually.
something like that, yeah. I would love to see my game versus Red Dice get casted. I want Jason to see it. Nice. It's power. What's going on, man? How you doing? Yeah, I mean we can
Uh,
totally do that. Absolutely. I'm not sure how long Jason's gonna be around for, but you know.
I mean, the girlfriend just arrived, and we've ordered food, so
Oh yeah,
I
man.
will
Cut
I
out
will
whenever you
definitely
need.
take a break or two. But since I'm not working right now,
Yeah, man. Cut out whenever you need. No worries.
basically got an open end evening right here.
Yeah, that's kind of how I was. I was like, I've got an open evening. Let's just do everything when it comes to casting.
Yep, that's a pretty long thinking phase, though.
Yeah. Yes, it is. We're going to if he keeps playing like this long, we're gonna start a timer, and when he goes beyond 5, we're just gonna tell him you got to keep your planning to 5.
Yep, like 3 minutes planning phase or something.
Yeah, I like to
Last
do.
last tournament had some very slow players.
Yeah, and there are some new players, and a lot of them. I like that we're getting new players in every tournament, and like we're keeping like one or two of them, and I think that's pretty neat. But yeah, new players tend to be a little bit slower. I think it's because most players are trying to contemplate every single move that they could possibly do because there's just so much to Mage Wars.
They also just second guess themselves way too
Yeah,
much.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I know how I was back then. You always make a decision and then suddenly think, but what if?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you don't even know what the opponent. You're not even thinking about your opponent's turn at that point. That's way out of your league. Thinking about your opponent's turn and
Yes.
anticipating them, but you just think, but what if? Does it even pay off? Does the mana even work? And then you
Mm-hmm.
start calculating, and then isn't that other turn better? But you're not even thinking about your opponent's turn.
Yeah, generally when I teach new players, I teach them things like the face melter, the rush master, because it's like, you know what? Just don't even think about other stuff right now. Just like focus on
Mm.
this is how you can get dice down. So at least you have like this train of thought, and then you can just build off of that from there. Because you see how you lose, and then suddenly you can go and start making that sort of branch of decisions happening, that being said, it looks like we have a Witchwood rat coming out. So we do have a Dark Fiend and a Witchwood giving each other a melee 1 and piercing 2, activating
Yes,
on
but
each other.
one of them's gonna move out of the zone. Otherwise, they just
Yeah,
stand there being useless.
being rats. And this is kind of why that lair in the center zone is nice because they would be in some sort of position to start moving somewhere. Probably not attack the fire elemental. All right, and we
That's
see
a
a wall of thorns.
defensive wall of thorns. A
How do you feel?
defensive wall of thorns with fire weakness against an Adramelech Warlock.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I think it's creative.
That seems like a really nice thing to say.
Hmm.
I mean, honestly, it is blocking him from moving 1 to attacking the Beastmaster. I think,
Yes, it's. I said it's defensive. It
yeah,
works as a defense for now. But Shaki can just do a double move and then play one of the cards he'd planned anyway, and then he's 5 mana up in the exchange.
yep. And this Wall of Thorns becomes a little bit useless. He's going to enchant this Falcon. I'm guessing Mark for Death. He's probably going to try to blast it, or if the Falcon attacks the Elemental, he'll reveal it so that he gets a 3-die Scorching Heat. That's my guess anyway.
Twitch is complaining about my ad blocker.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they changed that a couple months ago where they like were trying to force it.
So disgusting because they're also lying through their teeth.
Yeah, oh, totally. And the chains of agony getting revealed.
These third-party tools can affect Twitch's performance. No, you are affecting
Yeah,
the performance intentionally.
It's somehow
What are you
worked for
talking about?
years. Yeah, it worked for 10 years and now it's a problem? Come on, Twitch, you know? Chains of Agony getting revealed. Very cool play. Expecting to be hit by this Falcon, or if there was a Lion Savagery, saying, okay, if you're going to use that Lion Savagery, you're going to take so much damage.
Yep.
Lion Savagery does get revealed. So this Falcon's going to go up now to 3 damage. Because it moved
Whenever
2.
you know... Yes, Lion Savagery. Whenever you know something wants to double move for some charge, just give it chains.
Oh, this Falcon decides to roll 10 damage on 6 dice and killing that crystal. Interesting going after the economy play.
Yes, using up some of your luck when going for the economy always tends to bite you afterwards.
And
because
this...
I mean,
yeah.
some people, it's a bit superstitious to think about using up your luck. I mean, everyone knows there's no such thing as used up luck. But it always feels bad when you get such a roll and you think I should have attacked the mage. Of course, if you attack the mage, some of the numbers in the random number generator would have given you a different attack. But it always
it seems like
your brain always associates it with this strike would have been strong.
Yeah, so Shark's actually in a weird predicament now where he really doesn't want to move out necessarily, because then that Lion Savagery activates. And ideally, I guess he stays here, out of range of stuff, if he wants to kill the bird that way, I guess. Where'd the other 2 come from? You moved twice? Yeah. So for anyone wondering, Chains of Agony, each time this creature takes a move action is moving from one zone to the next zone. So he moved 2. So Chains of Agony procs twice.
Yep, that's what I said. Whenever someone wants to double move for his charge, give him chains.
Move action.
What? It moved twice. It made 2 moves.
Yeah, he just doesn't know the rules, which is totally fine. That's why we have experienced players being like, "Hey,
yep,
you know, this sort of thing."
That's what the judges are for.
Mm-hmm. Are other people allowed to hop into the chat? Hey man, I mean, if you want to join, I mean, it's kind of just an open chat. I doubt Jason will care. As one of the new players, I know I'm one. Yeah, man. I mean, you know, honestly, like, you're playing way better than you were last tournament in terms of, like, speed, in terms of knowing what you're doing with your cards. So, no worries, man. Like, seriously. Like, we all started somewhere with Mage Wars where we took forever to plan. You know, it's just something that newer players have. And you shouldn't feel bad about it because you're learning the game.
I was going to sarcastically claim that I was an expert when I started.
Of course. Of course you were. We do see a daze go onto this fire elemental. He rolled 3 dice, got, looks like, 2 damage. And that daze is going to be, again, problematic for this elemental. So,
yep.
If you were Shark, what would you do with this fire elemental?
I'd walk into the lair zone.
Okay.
Just stand in there, and whenever something gets summoned, whack it once. It's going to take some damage. It's going to maybe get a burn, and it's going to hinder everything that wants to come out from there. So that's another turn. You're buying time for your mage to just kill the stuff that actually threatens you.
That's fair.
Because the fire elemental is okay at killing the mage, but I don't think killing the mage is the priority right now. You won't burst him down from where you are. You still have to deal with the falcon. You can't just ignore it. Probably have to kill that one first, and at that point it's not a damage race anymore. I mean, the Adramelech wants to go for a damage race,
oh, yeah.
but I'm not sure he can go for it right now with the fire elemental getting dazed and stunned all the time, and with the distance he has right now from the other mage.
Yeah, I do want to point out that Ryokai still has 0 armor. Whether or not the
Yeah, I'm also
mage,
thinking
you know,
two if there's 2 fireballs coming right now to the mage, then I would try to get a hit onto the Beastmaster.
yeah, I almost wonder if a Mark for Death fireball would be the play here, just because then you have a chance for the fire elemental doing 7 dice, and of course the fireball. Of course, I'm assuming that this is a Hawkeye, but it could be something different. Um, on the Adramelech.
I always think if you're going to throw big rolls, that an Akira's favor is way more important than a Hawkeye. If you're already
Oh yeah.
throwing 7 dice, the difference between 7 dice and 8 dice isn't all that big. The difference between 4 blanks and
Mm.
re-rolling or not re-rolling, that's a huge difference.
Yeah, yeah, I actually really agree with you on that one too. This could definitely be Akira's favor. I mean, honestly, unfortunately, I gotta say, Shark's probably not in a position to get aggressive against the mage, even though the enemy mage has no armor.
That's
Um,
that's that. See, that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
If he's still trying to go aggressive, which is reasonable against the Ramo, he needs to just try attacking through the days and getting a hit onto the Beastmaster. But
mm-hmm,
if he's trying to be strategic and to get some board control back, he needs to move the Fire Elemental with a double move into the lair zone, hinder everything that comes out from there,
yeah,
and that way he kind of circumvents the days by not attacking this turn.
yeah. That's probably the smarter play, to be honest. And I mean, Shark's at 18 mana. Raika has at 10. We could see something come out of Shark in terms of like a longer gameplay, like a creature or something. I think honestly, this round here is feeling like a prep round for where we're going to take the rest of the game. I mean, I guess he could just fireball the Falcon or something. That would seem kind of a waste. At the same time, like, I don't know, some sort of demon coming out, I'd be interested in seeing. Um, or of course, if we see the Mark for Death and Fire Shaper Ring come out, or Hawk or Kira's Favor, or whatever other enchantment he needs.
I wonder. I wonder why he's not playing a forge. He's already played 2 equipment, so that's 2 turns for the forge. You can always play the Demon Hide Mask and the Fire Ring from a forge.
I would love to have seen a Forge too.
But it probably doesn't pay off with summoning the Fire Elemental in turn 2. If you're paying
Yeah,
for a Crystal and the forge, that's 13 mana, and you get 11 the next turn. That's not enough for the Elemental.
yeah.
But it's
I
still a
don't.
kind of weird trade-off because the Fire Elemental hasn't done anything yet, so you might as well summon it turn 3.
I don't actually think it's too late to get a Forge right now. I know turn 6 is extremely like it's like you're not going to get as much as you're going to get out of it. But I mean, honestly, like a Forge, depending on how his book looks.
I mean, against the red dice, I summoned my forge on turn
Yeah,
4, I think.
I mean, we aren't in a position where these mages, like oftentimes in Mage Wars, there's like a point where everyone kind of sticks together, and either unless you like decide to spend a lot of mana to get away, you're kind of like almost stuck attacking each other, and we're still kind of like in this. It almost feels like an early game going into mid game instead of a usual turn 6, where it's like there's clearly going to be conflict with the mages now. That's just kind of how I feel about the state of the board right now. Is that I think spawn point plays are still viable in this state here, like a Battleforge. I mean, even Ryukai, if he played a Battleforge, I wouldn't be against that, to be honest.
I tend to shy away from double spawn point.
That's fair. It's expensive. And,
He has
honest,
18 mana, so he could Cassandra and double move into
is
the
that
layer
Power
zone.
of Mind? What up?
It is. It
How's it
is. I did
going?
join.
Hey, that.
Yeah, as I said, like, I would expect some sort of creature play. Um, Knowing Adramelech Warlocks, like Cassandra, would be a solid play for sure. Um, but, there's a lot of different directions they can go. And I think Ryokai is just deciding on some things with his 10 mana. Power, how you doing?
Doing well. I'm a bit sick, so it might sound you might be able to hear it in my voice a little bit.
Nice.
But yeah, yep.
All right, so it looks like Ryokai chose to put a creature on the lair and then not cast anything. No, he just put it on the lair. He just, he didn't want to cast it,
Bluffing with a spawn point is an elemental trick, I'd say. It's something
right.
you just do.
Yeah, that's fair.
You gain something from confusing your opponent, while you would you'd throw an advantage away that's free.
Yeah.
By not doing that.
Yeah, I think I don't think Shark was going to change his play based on if a creature is coming out or not.
I don't think
but there's
so
certainly
either.
situations where that does happen, where you're like,
yes,
and
if you just get into the habit.
Yeah.
Even if you're not using your spawn point, just put something on it.
It's pretty rare.
The only
rare
risk
for the spawn point to die when it comes to that creature, unless it's very obvious that like it has 1 HP left.
Exactly.
Clearly, he's going to kill it. Then don't do that. But you usually want to cast a creature if that's the case. All right, Shark passing is quick. I am sensing a creature out of Shark. If it is Cassandra, I think you should wait for this Falcon to double move first, if it's going to do that.
Yeah, he doesn't want it to hit Cassandra. I wonder if he's going to attack the other crystal now with it.
Oh, that would be interesting too. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of attacking the economy. Yeah,
I don't think it pays off. You know, it's not like an RTS where you basically can win the game if you kill economy. This is a Mage War's economy is more. We have cards going everywhere. Mage War's economy is more. It's less impactful. In a when you kill it, it's already usually paid off. You know.
Yep. You're usually losing the trade. I mean, there was a 5 dice attack, 6 dice attack, which equates to a fireball.
Yeah.
So fireball is 8 mana, and the mana crystal is 5 mana. That's already a lost trade.
Agreed. Yeah, Ryokai is having problems. He does start with the Beastmaster. Rhinohide doesn't go on. You can put on. Yeah, sure, got it.
He had a disconnect. Yeah, Octagon still doesn't have a disconnect.
If this ever happens, you do absolutely want it on your mage. You can always just page up and down, and then select it all, like box it. But you know that's
just
putting it off the side.
Just make it look like it's there.
Exactly. Don't hide it. But yeah, I mean, this is basically sometimes when there's a disconnect, the coding breaks. Things still work like the armor 1, but weird things like attaching doesn't because Octagon is archaic.
He only paid 3 mana. He didn't pay for the hidden cost, by the way.
He doesn't need to.
Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah, he's got,
I'm done.
Witchwood Fairy and the Enchanter's Ring.
Okay, that's my bad.
No, you're good. You're good. That rat is gonna guard. All right, we see a 3-die attack Duke coming in at this elemental. Looks like 1 damage is going to get rolled. Not enough for a stun. The elemental's free.
Going to kill the whole elemental with the laser tower?
That would be hilarious.
So rad.
All right, Demon Hide Mask. Usually when you see this, you're thinking aggression. We are seeing a Fire Stream come out, trying to hit this Falcon. And a dodge does get revealed, and of course dodge when a minor creature automatically works. Wonderful dodge.
I would have gone for a Flame Blast. I mean, it's nice to say in hindsight, but if you're attacking a minor creature with an enchant on it, and you know your opponent wants to spam enchants, dodges.
Yeah, that's actually a realistic way to look at it. Yeah.
And it's 1 more mana to guarantee the hit. Makes such a huge difference.
Yeah, these kind of defensive spells are so good with the Falcon. Because you can't just, like, melee attack it to test, unless you have, like, the whip.
And even then, you're wasting a whip attack.
Yep. Looks like we're going to see which would fairy go down one. So we're probably going to see the Straywood get a little bit, right next to the Adramelech here. Meridia's Blessing. Not a temple.
No, not the blessing. I was talking about the other one.
Yeah, I know.
The one
That's right.
you
Yeah.
activate.
Just saying it could be. Should have been. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. I find it interesting that one of the Meridias is a temple and the other is a artifact?
Statue.
Statue?
Gotta know the difference between a statue and a temple.
Yeah, because it seems like they're the same. They're almost the same card. One of them is definitely just the Academy version. Chains card won't let me select the bird. Oh, sure, got it. He is going to go after this mana crystal here.
Yeah, as I said, I really don't like it because it also means more Chains of Agony procs now because he's further away.
He's
Shark
too
can almost kill the
range from hitting
Shark.
anything now. Yeah.
Shark can almost kill it with the Chains of Agony alone if he just keeps moving. Well, the Meridia's Blessing counteracts that, but still. I also don't like the Meridia's Blessing with so many small creatures. It's kind of the paradox about the Blessing. You need a lot of organic stuff, but you also want it to be big and beefy, otherwise it's not really
Seriously?
useful.
He's one-shotting crystals with this? Against the mage, that would be ridiculous. Holy cow. Like, this is the ideal, is to one-shot these, but damn.
That would have been 15 damage on the mage.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's keeping Shark in the race, is the fact that he's just killing crystals. Because he would have 3 armor.
Shark is happy to see that.
Yeah, because he had 3 armor.
Definitely happy.
So he'd be at like 11 damage now, because he has regen. That's a big difference. That's, a third of your life gone versus 0. And honestly, I'm not sure how late this game is going to go. I feel like this game's going to be over.
In terms of turns or in terms of
turns?
time?
Probably 5 turns, is my guess. Maybe 6. I don't know. It depends. Felix, what's up? How you doing? I guess Ryukai, if he wants to kill the Adramelech, he has to get a ton of rats out. And I'm really just waiting for him to, like, get the 3 out a turn. And just be like, alright, rats, here you go.
I don't think he's trying to turbo spam them.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's kind of weird because that's kind of the only way to actually play them.
Yeah, I'm a little worried that they're just going to eke out and just kind of slowly die each round. But I suppose.
Yeah, that's exactly why the fire elemental is in there.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Shark preps his cards right away. He knows exactly what he wants to do. Okay. I'm guessing we're going to see Ryukai. He's at 2 armor. A lot of times I see players when they're playing like this just keep going up in armor with equipment or something like that. It's possible he might try to put another dodge on this Falcon here.
His lair is also not taking the cards. That's rare. Disconnects usually break the automation for everything mage related, but most other cards usually keep working.
Felix, you know it. If you were the Adramelech Warlock right now, what would you do? Jason or Power, either one.
I thought you were talking to Felix and seeing what he's going to say in the chat.
Oh, Felix? Nah. Felix
Who's
doesn't.
gonna?
Felix doesn't have an opinion. I would change my book to Orc Warlord. I love it.
I don't know. I think he.
That's why it's not automating. It's a lightning beetle.
Yeah, it's the old lightning beetle, or it's the new one and it hasn't been changed in the code yet, and only in the graphics. But it's supposed to come from the layer. That's right. What would I be doing right now? I mean, the Meridia can't protect the mage. It can only protect the creatures.
Yeah, this is one of those books that Meridia's Blessing is perfect in, and when you verse it, you're like, I hate that card so much.
There's still two different approaches. Either you're going to kill all the creatures,
Yeah.
which is not that hard right now. You can kill one red and ignore the other. You don't really need to kill the fairy, and you want to get rid of the bird. Then you have a fire elemental against the laser tower, and you've got all the firepower behind your mage. Or you can start going for the mage, which right now is still a valid option. Because there's so many resources out. There's 15 mana in the lair. There's 10 mana in the reds. There's mana in the fairy. There's a lot of mana in the falcon. All of that is mana that does not go towards defense.
I actually really agree with you. I mean, he has Piercing 1, so effectively, he's dealing with an Armor 1 mage right now. Not to mention range +1. He needs one good round of just like Mark for Death, Akira's Favor, that sort of thing. I'm guessing Shark's going to actually go after the Falcon.
By the way, he would have wanted to Forge as well.
I feel like a Hidden and Kiros and Cassandra still would be really good, because I don't think he's in a position that he can just go aggressive.
If he got Cassandra Akiros this round, it'd be his initiative next. He could then burn the crap out of the mage, and then get Cassandra in there to try to prevent the burns from going away.
That's exactly why I think that it's a good idea right now.
That would be the, do you have enough defensive stuff to stay alive against basically the uber aggression, which I would argue, if he's going straight for the mage, this looks very much like a turn 2 to 3 Adramelech trying to kill a mage board state right now, in terms of like how the mage reacts to it. Granted, I mean, he has the Falcon out over here and the layer and some other shenanigans here, but like really, in terms of the mage defending against a hyper fireball Adramelech, like it hasn't changed much since the beginning of the game. Felix, hard to tell, but from back when I would have gone Hellfire Forge and probably go for the mage, yeah. All right, Lightning Beetle comes out for Ryukai.
Yeah, it's the old one. The graphic doesn't say animal yet.
I don't remember if we changed any of the attacks on it. I'm pretty sure it's all the same.
You changed it back. We gave him one more range on both attacks. Not on both attacks. We made the range attack 1-2 instead of 0-1.
No, I'm pretty sure it's 1-0 again.
Yeah. We reversed it like one week after that.
And of course, we gave it the animal subtype. That's why you can bring it out of the layer, for anyone wondering on YouTube. I mean, I think he's playing this honestly because he just wants to stun and daze the crap out of Fire Elemental. I think Fire Elemental...
And because it's an ethereal attack.
Yeah, exactly. And I think actually it's not a bad play. Fire Elemental now, he has to attack this rat because it's getting in the way of attacking this beetle. So that's an interesting way to start dealing more with this fire elemental. I guess I hadn't really thought too much about the beetle being used with a lair in order to counter Incorporeal, and I actually really like that play out of Ryokai.
The beetle is still too expensive for what it does.
Oh, it's so expensive. I totally
It's
know what
13
you mean.
mana for 7 HP. I mean, that Falcon would have killed it in one shot with one of those
Yeah,
attacks.
that's true. Would you pet it?
And never.
Never? Okay.
Because there's so many situations where you're not even going for the melee. And then going from 4 armor to 5 armor really doesn't make a difference. Going from 7 HP to 10 makes a difference, but it's not worth it. You want to use that on something that actually melee attacks.
That'd really be the only reason why I'd pet it, just to get that free life. Which at that point in time, it, put a bull's endurance on it or something. All right, looks like we have the bird coming in. It doesn't take damage from the chains. Rolling 4 dice. Is it 4?
What do you mean
No,
it doesn't take? He did the walking, so he's adding the damage.
Yeah, I know. I'm just watching. I waited for him to do it, I guess. He rolled 6, got 7. There is armor. We're going to see another enchantment go down. Temple of Light's going to attack this fire elemental, dealing 1 damage. Doesn't get that sweet dace done.
That enchant should just be another dodge. Force him to use a Flame Blast.
Totally think that's what it is, too. And Shark's going after that dog. So we're in a chill out phase. This tends to be why I like doing replays now. This is like really old school though of watching it live.
Yep, because you can just fast forward.
Mm-hmm.
We could do some strategically silent phases that you can edit out later.
I used to do that too, actually. Yeah. Okay, everyone just be quiet.
I mean, with 19 mana now, he can't do Akiro's Cassandra. So, what do you think is his best option right now?
Best option is to either kill the bird or start laying the damage on the mage. That's his 2 best options. I even want to see the Devil's Trident here right now. Even that would be cool because it circumvents all the armor.
Yeah.
And maybe cripples him. But a double fireball right now would probably be the most valuable play, or at least
Russ gets
curse and
revealed.
fireball.
And we are going to see a fire stream. Okay, so he saw the enchantment go down on the Falcon, and I bet that fire stream was meant for the Falcon. And he's like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going after your mage. You probably don't have any intercept creatures in your book. So I'm just going to Flame Blast. This is going to end probably in the next 3 turns. Or at least we'll probably know who's going to win by then. Based on this kind of play. Okay, he's going to roll 6. That's 4. 1 with the Hawkeye. 1 with the mage's +1 ability. It's going to have a 5-up burn. Rolls a 4. Or no, that's a 5. So it does get a burn. Because it's a +1 to the effect roll. Very nice roll. I mean, of course, there's 0 armor, so I guess it's average. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's a 4. And then it's a 5-up to actually get the burn. So there is no burn. I expect this elemental to actually move up 1. Probably hit the rat. And of course, it's going to be Shark's initiative next turn. So it'll have a chance to again move to attack the mage.
Before the laser tower hits it.
Yeah, assuming the mage doesn't move here.
Yeah, I think he's going to pass until the mage moves.
Yeah.
Or if the fairy attacks, so that indicates that the mage is staying, because you don't usually want to move out of the fairy zone.
It's a really good point here. Does get 1 critical. You gotta love that little ping. It's a zap.
That's actually why I stopped playing the Witchwood Fairy, because it kind of makes it a little predictable where you're going. You do get the action advantage and you get the little fairy, but you also need to hardcast it because it's not a creature.
Yeah. Yeah, she's weird. Like, we were talking earlier about the Enchantress Ring, which, by the way, Raikai is actually playing really well with that. Fairy's kind of the same idea. Yeah, you're right, where it's like, okay, I have to kind of cast.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's kind of like 4 mana for an okay creature, I guess. Beastmaster is going to punch the Adramelech. Rolls a 6 on 4 dice. Of course, there is 3 armor here, so Shark only taking 3 is going to be able to regen 1. A really nice hit.
It's a big dice game.
Yeah, Ryokai is actually rolling really well. And that Falcon one-shotting each of the crystals, that's actually pretty insane.
They are both rolling well, which usually benefits the Adramelech Warlock a bit more.
It's true. That is true.
We're gonna see one or two ridiculous fireball hits. Could swing the game.
Yeah, pretty much. I would take out the Black Arrow. Shark's got it. Felix, so Coshade, tell me about these mages, how they would do against meta builds. Give me one second. Let's finish up this round, and then we'll take some questions. So Shark is gonna have to go now. And I'm guessing we're to see the move up. Yes, this is exactly what he should be doing. The 5-die attack, not killing this rat, but it could end up dying on a counter strike if it chooses. It does retaliate. Gets 1 damage. And then we're going to see a 2-die attack back.
It's really not that elemental stay.
It really isn't. 2 die, 2 extra dice going in, and a burn and a daze. Ouch. That's most likely going to be a dead rat. I guess I never noticed this, but Witchwood is 5. Dark Fiend is 6. Wow. Huh. In terms of life. Wonder why they made that choice.
Don't they also come from 2 different sets?
Yeah, one of them is from Necromancer, and the other one's Druid, I want to say. It's just interesting that that's how they did that. Is that Sharkbait? This is Shark. Sharkbait's not talking. Who's talking is Jason and Power. Players also in the tournament.
Hey there, I'm Sir Jason Craig. You're gonna see some more of my games too in this tournament.
Oh yeah,
At least I hope you're going.
Oh yeah.
At least I hope you're gonna see more games because I've only played 3 so far, and I hope there's gonna be more of those.
I'm sure you'll do fine. This rat is at 2 burns in 1 daze. It's probably gonna die. It's
as I said, most people don't know that the
yeah, you assume 2 burns.
gets
Yeah. I'm sure they'll get to it. It's probably gonna die anyway, let's be honest here. Because with 2 burns and only 1 life, you're most likely to die. Alright, so now we're gonna go into planning phase. So yeah, I think Shark's actually in a good spot to get super aggressive here. He has the double fireball combo that he could do. Not to mention he has a fire elemental. I mean, he could choose to fireball and maybe flame strike to get a 6-die attack out of 5 mana. Not to mention the burns. There's just a lot of options here that Shark has where he could just get hyper aggressive. I expect something defensive out of this Beastmaster, and if he doesn't, he might it might cost him the whole game right here.
Yep.
That is a dead rat.
If I was Shark, I'd probably prepare a Flame Blast and a Fireball.
Ah, yes. I can see that.
Just so I can do the guaranteed Fireball. And then, no matter what the opponent plays, the Flame Blast will also hit him. Because I could see Ryukai going for a block, because the dodge is basically the same playstyle as going for a block on the mage, and he does have the double discount, so there's going to be some
Yeah.
enchant coming out, and nothing's better against the fireball barrage than actually getting a block.
Oh, a block would be ridiculous. If he only has dodges, is that dodge based off of level? No.
Yeah, it is.
Is it? I mean, cost. Sorry, I mean. Let me see
Dodge is
here.
for, I think for minor creatures, dodge is guaranteed, and for everything above that, it's one.
Yeah, you get a.
50%.
No, that's a different spell. Dodge actually states you get a 7-up if you're a major creature, and that's it. So if he only has dodges and not a block, I would totally dodge, because if you manage to get a 7-up and dodge a fireball, that could also win you the game right there.
Yep.
But I agree, block is probably just an insane choice for him right now. Because we haven't seen Flame Blast, so you know what I would read on Shark right now is use defenses. And I do want to point out that Shark's initiative here is also big, because moving that fire elemental one means he can't get hit by this beetle this round, unless there's like a teleport or something.
Oh, the tower, both of them.
Yeah.
Both
So
of a chance.
but yeah. Before he can act before it hits. Huge deal for the temple. So he avoids that 2-die attack from the beetle, and gets an attack off before this. Huge. You should get an overlay with 2 players. We barely do this live, but I've actually been meaning to improve our overlay, because we just have like the Mage Wars Arena logo on the top that covers up replays. But there you go. But yeah, I should probably like kick it up a notch when it comes to how we present these videos. So talking about these books against meta builds right now are actually in an interesting state, Felix, and we're going to talk until he's done with planning. It used to be that Druid and Necromancer, and arguably some Priestess and Wizard books, just kind of dominated everything. And you know, you had strategies for like Paladin and stuff like that was really good. But now we're seeing that a lot of other mages are viable as well. And while Druid is still pretty insane in my opinion, you know, it's not as bad as it used to be. So honestly, when it comes to Shark's build, okay, so when it comes to meta builds, it's a little hard to say what a good meta build is now, because there's so many new builds that are coming out, if that makes sense.
The way I see it is Mage Wars right now is probably the most balanced it's ever been. Like, yeah, there are some minor outliers. Like I still feel like Siren is pretty weak, but
oh, interesting. Wow.
Yeah, I think Siren just needs more life. At least.
That's interesting. I found that Siren is really strong right now, but like then again, I haven't seen many Siren games come out, so I'm interested in seeing more data on it personally.
But, I mean, I lost with the Siren in my first tournament game, but that's A, because I underestimated my opponent, and B, because he just face melted me, and Siren is kind of susceptible to that.
Face melting. You gotta love it. Alright, we're gonna see Shark actually throw a fireball right at quick cast. He rolls 8 dice, gets 10 damage, no armor on that Straywood. That is a huge one, and he also gets the 2 burns. Holy cow, man. Insane first quick cast.
That's exactly what we wanted to see.
Yeah, and when we talk about face melters, we've been saying that a bit this stream. This is exactly what we're talking about. It is possible to raise this dice a bit more as a Warlock, but you know, getting this kind of dice potential is why she's insane right now, or has always been, I guess.
As for matchup, if we go by the traditional old matchups, if you catch someone off guard, especially the Necromancer, not as much the Druid, but the Necromancer, you were always susceptible to a face melter. Because a Necromancer that takes a step toward the middle and then places a graveyard, that's already a lot of mana that does not go towards defense. So if the Adramelech just walks up and gives you 2 fireballs as a Necromancer, you only have 2 more HP than a Siren. Difference isn't that big. And the Necromancer has the Cloak of Shadows as defense, but yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, Shark's got it. Yeah, so looks like a smart play out of Raikai trying to tangle vine this fire elemental, but unfortunately the target is corporeal creatures, so he just kind of like burns through it. Technically, by rules, when you try to cast something, I'm pretty sure it says it just like dies. But you know, usually in our community, at least, we try to just be like, dude, just put the card away. Don't worry about it. You know. um, I don't actually know if that counts for target lines. Actually, now that I think about it, but I know there's rules that are like, if you can't pay mana, you just lose the whole spell. Should I waste 5 mana? Yeah, this is one of those things that like Shark's gonna say no because we never let people lose because of that, because that's lame in this community.
We actually do have a lot of sportsmanship.
This is probably one of the best communities I've found sportsmanship wise.
Even though sometimes in tournament games you really, I mean, let's say it this way: there's some things I expect from my opponent, and depending on who my opponent is, those expectations rise.
That's
And if he
totally
fails one of
fair.
those things, I might not be that lenient.
Yeah, yeah. Like oftentimes, if it's like first quick cast phase, and you know there wasn't any sort of deployment out of spawn points and nothing's happened, they ask to change a card. I usually go okay, but you know the minute that something has happened and they ask to change, I always say no, you can't. Sorry. Um, looks like he's gonna cast a dispel. And I think Ryokai is actually a bit,
Flustered.
yeah, flustered based on that 10 damage. You know, we're seeing two things happen here. You know, using his main action, it's not main action phase, using the wrong target against Fire Elemental. And I want to point out that Tanglevine is, I've noticed that some nature mages kind of rely on Tanglevine as a crutch, and when it ends up not working, they don't know what to do to stop something. You know, and it's sort of interesting how Tanglevine it's actually an insanely good spell, but now that like we're seeing War Incorporeal, we're seeing it sort of be like, well, you don't necessarily want to take 6 of them anymore.
Question real quick. Wasn't he supposed to pay 5 mana for the spell because of the mage bind +1
Yeah.
on the rust?
He paid 5. How much did he pay?
He paid 4.
Yes, Rust costs 5 mana. By the way, he paid 4. Thank you for the thank you for the thing there, Mr. Power. Only 1 damage, your armor's back. Yeah, so basically now he's at 2 armor. And Shark's going to go in, roll 5 dice. He gets, with 2 armor, he's going to get 1 damage on the Beastmaster. And it looks like he's going to get 1 burn as well. And Raikai needs to spend that last mana. Oh, he's trying to reveal Run Ahead again. Yeah, when this happens, you just have to put it off the side. Just give yourself 2 armor tokens.
Yep. I mean, you don't even need the armor token. The targeting doesn't work at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, without
Cool.
that rust, you don't get the fire bonus.
Yeah, that was kind of a really clutch first fireball. I'm curious if Shark now took another fireball, or if he thought that something might get dispelled, then he has a curse waiting.
So now he takes the mana back. Why? And also, he still hasn't taken the 5 mana from the Tanglevine back, has he?
Oh, yeah. Let me make sure he... Yeah, because he had Tanglevine in that, and he had 10 mana, because he didn't cast anything else.
So he should be at exactly 5.
5 mana. Nope. That mana. 5 mana for Dispel, 5 for Tangle. Just a little bit. Oftentimes when you move a little quick like this is what happens. I think Shark said to refund the mana.
He did.
Yes. I'm going to let Shark speak up. Because it was really his call.
Shark actually told him to refund it.
Yeah, exactly. Give me 1 second, guys, if you guys want to keep talking for a second. I'm got a second here.
Yeah, but removing the rust was actually the best move here. Not only did it basically increase his armor by 2, it also got rid of the fire bonus from the Adramelech, so now it's like, in parentheses, just a normal fireball hurling Warlock. It doesn't have the Adramelech bonus. But I think Shark is gonna fix that next turn.
Alright, I'm glad we didn't get too far because that mana is not too hard to figure out before we keep moving forward. New mistake. It happens. I mean, honestly, like, this game gets confusing, so... You know. Alright, so he's going to spend a mana. He's going to do a 3-die attack against this elemental. Getting, looks like 1 damage, and that is a stun, I believe. No, it is not. No, it is. It's a stun. Yes. That's an amazing hit. That's exactly what you want in this situation, is a stun.
It's always so counterintuitive with the Temple of Light. I mean...
Right.
Yes, the math is correct. The card is designed correctly to do as it was intended to, but it still feels so weird that the stun threshold goes down.
I know.
In the numbers.
It's like, is it daze or stun? Adding that +3 is really nice. This is, by the way, how my priest used to tackle Adramelech Warlocks when it first came out. Is just daze and stun the crap out of them, and then hope your little clerics can beat the, staff beat them down. Falcon is going to move in, rolls 8 dice, because it is in the same zone. Is that right? 8? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... 4...
Should just be 7.
7. Yeah, it's definitely 7. Which, too bad, because that's a 10 damage attack.
Well, Shark counted correctly.
Yeah, it should be 7. 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So, just to reread it, 3, 4 because of pet, 5 because of Beastmaster pet, and 6, 7 because of lion.
And that's one of I wouldn't just allow them to subtract one of the dice at random, but reroll the whole.
Oh yeah, you definitely, in a roll like this, you have them reroll everything. Honestly, my general rule is reroll everything if the dice are wrong. Sometimes if it's like add 1 die, like you rolled 3 instead of 4. Sometimes it's like just roll 1 more, but it's
the other way around.
I mean?
If the automation just didn't count one of the cards or something like that, I'm like, roll 2 more, we're gonna add it. But the other way around, subtracting a die, that I almost never do that. If someone rolls too much, he can roll again.
Oh, I'm sure Raikai does not feel good about having to reroll that whole thing. So we say 7 dice get rerolled, 3 damage going through, 6 getting rolled, 3 from the armor. Wait, no, it is piercing 1, 4 damage going through. Aha. And 2 damage because of the charge. Did he move 2? Yeah, no, he only moved 1. Okay. Let's see, this Fire Elemental, I think, came out turn 2, I want to say. So it's cost him 26 mana so far.
And it has dealt 3 damage to the mage so far. And killed 1 rat.
And Fair's actually go after this Warlock. Or, I'm sorry, the Elemental. Dealing 1 damage. I
That's
guess,
very risky for the parry.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense because if he kills that,
No.
yeah, I know what you mean. I'm like, do you hit the mage here or not?
The fairy's biggest advantage is the super dodge, and attacking into a
Oh, he
damage barrier
meleeed.
with the fairy is.
Oh, he meleeed. Oh, yeah, no. Rolls 2 dice against it, gets 2 damage, and a burn. So this could actually be a dead fairy in upkeep. For some reason I thought the fairy was ranged, but that would only make sense in some ways because of the zap. I guess it like lands on you is like, ah, you know, like this like makes a little energy burst.
A little slap.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like Cassiel.
And we're still in first quick cast phase from my turn thing, so they really need to advance. I think because of all that confusion with the dispels and stuff, I just got off track. Okay, and this Beastmaster is really open still.
Yeah, but right now there's no damage amplification.
Mm-hmm.
The fire doesn't get a bonus dice. He has 2 armor.
So did
I would
Shark
say
prep a cursor?
he has. I would say he has board control, and I don't think Shark has a curse right now. Shark's gonna throw another attack without the bonus dice, and then next turn I would expect him to actually prep 2 curses.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's
he
kind of how I
can.
see that going as well.
So he can double attack on his initiative again.
And this is going to be a fireball? Flame Blast. Interesting. So he was ready if he had a dodge or something
Yep.
like that, I think. 5 dice getting rolled. Piercing 1.
Not a single blank.
Very nice roll. Rolling 6 damage against 1 armor because of that piercing.
And I
5.
think that's not the burn, because he's no longer cursed.
It is a single burn, right? A 7 up.
Yes, and he doesn't have a fire weakness right now.
Yep.
So it's not the burn.
Looks like Shark removes a burn from the fairy. Okay. Is that 4 burns in that Beastmaster? Dang. Going to fire with a burn from the fairy. Oh, interesting. Okay. Very cool move.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about it necessarily, but you know.
So the fairy lives.
Yeah, he may not be worried about the one damage.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about the fairy as well. It's just 1 dice, and if it's attacking the stunned fire elemental, I mean the fire elemental is not going to do much anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right now the objective is to kill the mage, and the fire elemental can't ignore the guards, and the fire elemental can't act at all next turn. So something that attacks the fire elemental is completely irrelevant right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Correct fire weaving.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way to get rid of stun on Incorporeal, is there? It's kind of a big weakness.
There's the mind clear
Oh,
card.
that's right. Clear Mind does work on. Or is it? It's non-psychic, I assume. Something like that.
Let us check.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, the fire elemental isn't psychic immune.
Yeah.
You can actually play Ballad of Courage or Demonic Bloodlust on the fire elemental.
Yeah, it's not psychic immune, but does Clear Mind it does work on fire elemental?
I'm checking right now. I've got my deck builder open. On a creature.
Oh wow.
Target is a creature.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, I think in the text it says like if this creature is not psychic immune or something weird like that. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work on zombies, but I don't know, I could be wrong. All right, the burns do get rolled. It looks like Beastmaster is going to take 4 damage. Out of those 4 burns, 2 burns is also going to get removed. That puts the Straywood at 26 damage out of 36. Shark's going to go ahead and regen up to 10. So 10 out of 33. Ryokai is in danger.
Yep.
10 life left for an Adramelech is so easy to go through, especially when you have 2 burns.
I am expecting a Poison Blood, or even an Unholy Reversal. But the Poison Blood can be used for the flame bonus, and the Unholy Reversal can't, so
Yep.
I'm leaning towards the Poison Blood. And then maybe a Ghoul Rod on top of that. He might also just go for the Poison Blood and some smaller attack.
Yeah, I mean, Ryokai has initiative.
Blessing is only for non-mages.
Yeah, like Ryokai has initiative, so if he does prep a heal, he'll have the chance to use the first one. So Poison Blood would be
Yep.
smart if he's going to go regen or something like that.
I would still prepare the Poison Blood even if he does heal himself right now.
Yeah,
because
he
needs more than one heal.
It's a curse. Yeah, there's all sorts of good reasons to Poison Blood him right now.
By the way, one nifty thing about the Meridia's Blessing, can you hover over it? So everyone can read the text?
Oh, yeah.
Since we are in the planning phase again and nothing's happening, we might as well talk about cool cards.
Oh, yes.
So I don't see quite now because I have like 5 seconds delay to your stream. Now, there it is. The thing is, Meridia's Blessing is specifically worded so you can actually use the effect on 2 different creatures.
Yes.
Because the effect is separated. You can heal one and then remove a marker from another one. But both of these things are tied to a non-mage.
Yeah. It's actually a really insane card when you really look at it. The idea of 6 mana getting rid of 2 points per round is insane in the first part. Because I think
I love the drawback. I love the drawback that your opponent can hijack it.
Yeah.
And what I always hated was that you could never take it away from a druid.
Yeah.
The druid was cheating with the markers. The druid is already very easy to take control of the blessing.
Mm-hmm.
With all the creatures it can summon and with the tree and maybe a flower or something. So it's already pretty easy for the druid. But then counting the markers as well, that was ridiculous.
It was absolutely ridiculous. I totally agree. And that's one of the big changes that we made for this card, is that druid doesn't just auto-include it and basically get free healing every round without a downside. That was one of the more popular changes I think we did. Just because of how druid is still is in a lot of ways dominating the meta. So now that we're waiting, Jason, your thoughts on the current meta of this game? Do you think that there is a clear mage that just kills everyone all the time, or how do you feel about the game right now?
There's no established meta right now. I don't think there's anything that is clearly stronger than anything else. But right now, I personally have a clear tendency to be playing Warlock or Paladin as my strongest mages.
Those are both really good mages, to be fair, especially intentional.
Which isn't really anything new. I've been playing those forever. But getting them up to 10 mana and actually nerfing some of the overbearing mages from the before times, I think they are at a very good spot right now. On the other hand, I wonder how much the wizard has actually suffered. No one's playing him right now because people who play wizard think, well, might as well play the new wizard, and then they find out that it's absolutely shite.
That's fair. Yes.
The good old Gate wizard, I think he's still up there, and the druid as well. There's some guys in this tournament, if they pick a druid, I'm like,
that's fair. Yeah.
Like I know for a fact with a paladin that the right approach with my paladin against the druid is to get 2 Knights of Westlock out and start whacking the snappers and the lashes the turn they come out. That's the theory behind it. But in actual effect, like if you play against Biblo is going to get his mage up to 6 or even 7 dice and just walk up to you and hit you. And now you're faced with a problem. You're attacking his creatures, you're killing his creatures, but he's hitting you for like 6 or 7 dice every turn. And he's also still using the pillar, which does work as an offensive and a defensive turn still.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So
absolutely does.
So the druid still absolutely beats everything, I'd say. I don't know if I can beat it with the paladin, and I don't know if I can beat it with the warlock. But right now, there's a pretty good balance between druid at the top, warlock and paladin right behind, wizard probably still up there. But no one's playing it. And from the new mages, I think Elementalist isn't quite figured out yet. No one knows what the correct creature to spam is. Everyone's just trying a Timmy Ice book or trying a Timmy Lava Golem book or
Oh yes, absolutely.
all that kind of stuff. No one has really tried a competitive Elementalist yet in the tournament, at least as far as I can tell. Griffin has played a Face Melter Elementalist against me, but that style works with different mages. That's not really a Elementalist specific thing, even if he just get the bonus dice. So I think there's potential there, just because of the vast quantities of mana he can produce with just the Amulet and the Pandemonium. That's like 6 more mana per turn. With
I like
cards.
being called out on the Magma Golem build.
Gotta love it. We'll be looking at that game if that's a tournament game for sure.
Oh no, it's not. It was just it was a practice game. Jason came in and pretty much showed me what he planned to do against Red, and I was just playing a fun book, which was just spamming magma golems, and it wasn't a fun game. I can tell you that.
Navigolems are such weird creatures to make them work. Let's continue this conversation in the next planning phase here.
Yep.
So the Straywood Straywood did enchant himself and put on bearskin. Shark did the double curse, as predicted by Jason. And we're sort of just in a position where Adramelech moved down one. It's going to be Shark's initiative, so the Adramelech's going to go first next round. And looks like we have the Fire Elemental waiting to get rid of that stun, probably to try and delay as long as possible so that he can get rid of maybe another day's stun, and maybe the Temple will proc first. Who knows what Ryokai will do, but it's smart to just pass, even if this Fire Elemental dies, because there's no point in going now.
I wonder what that is that Ryuka played, because in a situation like this, you generally want to be the second mage to act. So you could actually, if Ryukai hadn't used his main action yet, Shark would not be able to move down like that. Because if Shark moves down and
Yes.
Ryukai still has his main action, he moves up and then he's out of range. So by keeping his own actions phase active for his mage, he would actually force Shark to wait and see what he's doing, or to at least, if Shark has to act first, stay in the zone so that Ryukai can't walk out of range. The way they did it now meant that Ryukai showed his hand,
Yes.
then Shark could just move away from the beetle, move away from the rats. That's 2 less attacks he's going to get. He's moving away from the tower as well.
Yep.
So if I was Ryukai, I would have either waited with my mage's main action, or at least moved into the tower zone. So that Shark can never have a tile where he has range on me, but is not in range for the tower.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, getting a day's stun chance from both the Beetle and the Temple of Light is a possibility for your mage. That could delay a whole nother round in terms of being able to deal good damage. Looks like the Falcon is going to try to attack the Fire Elemental, not getting the charge bonus. Does roll enough to get 1 damage out of that beak. We see a... he wants to add a charge. Okay, so he's going to roll 2 more dice. And the damage barrier, he gets 1 extra damage of that. The damage barrier should be rolling 3. Damage barrier rolls 3.
That's easy to forget.
Oh yeah, totally. Some extra damage. It may not matter because Meridia's Blessing is really just keeping everything alive in this game.
Except one thing.
The mage. The most important piece. And that daze is actually really nice to have in that Falcon.
It actually isn't, because Meridia is going to remove it. That daze is effectively 2 less mana.
Yeah. I mean, he has to pay, 2 mana, basically, which you'd pay that in an instant. No reason not to pay that.
I also don't think the Falcon has much of an effect on the game anymore.
Yeah, I mean, he's lucky if he gets some damage on the Adramelech. I think that's probably the best bet, is just free, 6-die attacks. Because really, I think you just ignore the damage because it equals out from Meridias, or Meridias, however you pronounce that. And we're going to see Shark just pass for a while now.
He's gonna wait until the stuns and the dazes pile up and then get rid of them all at once. So what Ryukai should do right now is move with anything else and then attack with the beetle and the tower after the elemental acted.
Yep. Oh, the fairy's going to move right. Interesting. Okay.
Well, getting back to the mage.
Yeah.
Fairy's not gonna attack the fire elemental, otherwise she dies.
Yeah, I suppose attacking the Adramelech's kind of... It's probably not going to do anything. Oh, he does act with the fire elemental. Okay, yeah, so he goes with everything. The beetle's then going to attack. This is the perfect way to play it as Ryukai. 2 dice coming in. Looks like he's going to roll 1 damage and a nothing. Nothing else, just 1 damage. Putting that elemental at 13. And we do have a temple here that he could still use.
If he walks in with the beetle, he gets another dice, and he's also in range for the Adramelech next turn.
Yep.
See, it's all those little efficiency things.
Yeah, I agree. I think he should have moved in as well. I mean, if he has a damage barrier come back, it's not going to kill him. So, whatever. He is going to attack with Temple. It's going to be 3 dice. It's 2 damage. And a stun. Of course. Of course he gets a stun. Does kill the elemental, of course. And at this point in time, Shark might actually just need that upkeep 1 mana just to deal damage next round.
Yeah, I was also just thinking about saying that it's better for Shark. Because you would never actually drop it in the upkeep phase by not paying.
Yeah.
But I think with a stun he would have actually dropped it.
Right, okay, I hope I survive, of course. The classic thing to say. Poison Blood does get revealed.
Preemptively, I'd say. Because there's nothing that would heal him yet.
Yeah, I feel like waiting would be better in case he takes a heal spell and wastes a slot of what he could do.
Yeah, he might be thinking like, okay, if you have Poison Blood, I guess. How much to remove burn? That Falcon has a burn and a daze, I believe. Do. It's actually, the only reason why it's a big deal is because he might actually want to remove the daze, and he can only remove 1 condition.
Yep.
And oh no! 4 damage added to the Straywood.
That stings.
That's pretty crazy.
Burns are so weird.
Yeah. So there were 4 burns on this Straywood. 2 of them went away. The remaining 2 have dealt 8 damage so far.
I always wonder if Ignite is worth it.
Oh, it always is worth it. I know. I one time. Okay, I'm gonna give you a case of one time it worked out. It dealt
That's gonna convince me.
I know, right? It literally, I cast it turn 2. It lasted the whole game and dealt over 14 damage. It was so funny. Every round he'd be like, "All right, this has gotta be done, gotta be," and then more damage. It's so funny. For a while, actually, Wand of Ice and Fire was range 2, and you would be able to just stack on burns through that.
Wand of Ice and Fire broke. I mean, that whole set broke so many unwritten rules. You
Yeah.
were actually never able to add another burn to something that was already burning without flame weaving,
That's right. Yeah.
unless you used the flame attack.
Mm-hmm.
All the cards that add a burn, like the Adramelech's necklace,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
the necklace only works if there's no burn yet. The demon you can summon that adds a burn to something in its zone only works if there's no burn yet. So all these effects that add a burn only worked if it's not burning yet.
Yeah.
And that was kind of broken by the Wand of Ice and Fire.
Yeah, and I would argue that breaking that unwritten rule wasn't necessarily bad, only because I think One of Ice and Fire, it's already kind of an card. But the fact that you can do at least that at range 1 it's okay. You know what I mean? But I hear you. Yeah, it definitely was very different in terms of how they decided to go about that card.
I love One of Ice and Fire and Magma Golems. That's about it.
Okay. I love it. Looks like, are we going right through deployment phase here? I was gonna talk about other stuff too, but nope, we're not. Okay. So yeah, I mean, honestly, like when it comes to, I think the Adramelech amulet, it's also a really tough amulet to use. I find oftentimes that fire weaving is just kind of the best way to use it, so that you could get multiple burns onto one creature by like being like, okay, I have my guy cursed with demonic bloodlust. I'm gonna burn
Yep.
him with my amulet and then move the burn. It's probably like the
That was
best way to do that.
Yep. That was the best use case I always found.
Yeah. Otherwise, I really think the other amulet, even as the fire warlock, is just better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about switching Moloch with the other one, but Moloch works on every creature that's cursed. It
Yeah.
works every turn. It's guaranteed damage instead of betting on the burn.
It's just so good. And you
Hmm.
have like those instances where, it's like versing holy books where they tend to have lower life. They're perfect to like kind of just get that extra little damage to kill them, things like that.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, in talking to the meta discussion while they're prepping, I'm probably gonna end it as soon as they start playing. But yeah, I actually agree. I don't think we've really seen anything that's completely dominant with these new cards, and I'm kind of glad for that. But it's one of those things that I'm still watching because, like, I feel like we just haven't tried the cards enough to really know what's dominant yet.
Yeah.
You
We right now every change we make is like we don't even know what's overpowered yet, and we are already changing stuff, which is usually good. There's just some outliers like Dosius that had to change.
Yeah,
Even
those were
if
like, 4 years of, okay, we know
Yep.
after this
Yep.
much time that this card is like this. Um, that sort of thing. So that's kind of
And
why
we
with
have,
this tournament we've just kind of freeze changes in every way, just because we're like, let's just see how everything's looking,
yep.
because there's really no point in changing stuff if we're looking fine right now. Mage Bane does get revealed onto Ryokai. No deployment out of this layer, which is interesting because if it's rats, it's basically free right now.
Yep.
Shark's not
Not
going to
only
actually
red,
quick cast.
a Falcon would also be free.
Sharkbait chooses not to quick cast. This could be a kill right now. There is a Flame Blast. Is there a defensive enchantment that has to get revealed here? No reveal. He gets 6 crits. I think this is game here.
Game.
Unless he has Bull's
That was a
Endurance.
regrowth. That was a regrowth.
That was. Okay, there you go.
I mean, I'm betting it's a regrowth.
Only thing that'll save him is Bull's Endurance or...
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. Bull's Endurance wouldn't save him right now.
Does he have
It's finite life.
Oh, he has finite
Yes.
life. You're right. Oh, wait, is it not innate life with Bulls?
Nope.
Oh, no. I want to use Cobra Reflexes? Yeah, it's unavoidable. It was a defense. Very nice.
Well, I was wrong. It's not a regrowth, but still.
And there it is. He rolls it anyway. You can't get out of the range of the cone. That is going to be game for Ryukai. Congratulations, Shark, for the win on here. Yeah, that Flame Blast is really smart. Yeah, that tempo really did well. Well, before we end this recording, everyone on the stream, we're gonna keep streaming, but we're doing individual records for the YouTube. Any comments about how these players played from Jason Power?
I think Sharkbait was kind of late with attacking the mage, because I think it was pretty obvious from the start that this was going to be a mage race. And I think Ryukai played a really cool style with the temple, and then kind of didn't apply the pressure he had. Those two hawk attacks, falcon attacks, went into the mage. I think that would have been a whole different game.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it was a very stylistic matchup for those two mages. Both of them did what the mage does, and for that, I think it was a very interesting game. It was a fun game, and I'm looking forward to all the other games.
Power, any thoughts?
Yeah, Shark played well for sure. I like Cassandra, so I wish he played it, but in the end, he definitely did what he wanted to do. I feel like the temple was huge. And the blessing too. The temple and the blessing did a lot of work that game for him. But the problem was it felt like, in my opinion, the temple and the blessing and like the bird were the only things that were doing anything, and the rest was kind of just there. I felt like he wasn't applying pressure as he could have been or should have been, and I felt like targeting the mana crystals on the bird was just a mistake. All that damage, like Shark could have been at like 20-ish damage right now with if the bird was just focusing him the entire time.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I really would have loved to have seen this lair get used more. I mean, obviously he has 6 mana on it right now. It's been 3 turns since something came out. I guarantee you he has more rats in this book. Just getting more creatures out of your spawn points. And I honestly, we were talking about this at the beginning. This layer in the corner was the worst spot to put it in. Even if it was in the center, we just would have seen more aggression against Shark's Adramelech. And that really, like, the lack of dice is why Ryukai lost it, because he actually got really good damage early with that Falcon. And I agree, if he would have ignored the crystals and got that 15 damage dice against the against Shark, I think, and the rats coming in, we would have seen a very different game completely. I love the temple play. I'm probably going to consider temple in a lot of my books, where I'm sort of going like, okay, incorporeal, I have this and this and this. Temple would also be a pretty solid choice. Overall, I totally agree. This is just an amazing example of how both mages sort of play, and I think there's good ways that both players can get better. And if you watch this game and you want to play either of these mages, you could probably see how they can improve. Shark from the chat, the Iron Vine would have helped a lot against the early bird damage. Yeah, I actually really liked the Iron Vine once I saw you take it and take damage. And Shark also says he probably should have shifted gears earlier. Yeah, I think you're in a really interesting state because you're playing mana crystals now, that you sort of are trying to figure out the right time to engage. And this was a little odd because the temple sort of kind of threw you for a loop, I think. All right, well, Power, Jason, thank you for joining me for this video.
My pleasure.
We're going to keep streaming, but everyone on YouTube that's watching this, we are going to have more games out. If you guys are interested in playing, we do have a description in the YouTube of how to join the online community. There's a Discord. This whole game is free. All you have to know is how to do minor computer installation things that can get frustrating for new people. But once you figure it out, it's a whole free game, and in my opinion, one of the best gaming communities out there. So thank you everyone for joining. Would love to hear your comments on YouTube, how you thought of the game, and we'll see you guys in the next game.